Michael here at drawingteachers.com. We're doing names that have been requested in graffiti bubble letters, and this name is Gisselle. It's a long name, so I have made the top and bottom line here, this would be the bottom line of course, made them fairly close together so that I have room for a lot of letters along here. I'm going to find out where the center of this is. It's going to be right there between the S and the E. So I'm going to find the center of my design, and I'm going to have to make these four letters fit in this space. So let me start with the S. I can show you a little trick for making S's. You can use 8 and then sort of follow that curve right there. Okay, for the I, we're going to tip the ends up, give it a little character like that, and then come around with circle for the G here, and I'm going to give that an angle too right there. Now for the E, let's keep going with the angle. That'll be kind of fun. To the L's, and another E. Alright, so now it's time to turn these into bubble letters. So what we'll do is we'll start drawing around them, and what I'm going to do here on the end of the G is sort of draw a ball. Draw a ball down in here. Actually make that shape an oval right there, and going to come around here. This is a little tricky, but I want a nice smooth round shape on this G. Don't really want to touch right there, but just barely touch. Alright, and now for the I, we'll have that tuck behind there. Just make that fit right in there. And now our S, we'll put a ball right there, a ball right there, a ball right there, and that's going to tuck behind there. So now I'm going to come off of that. Alright, and so just working these letter shapes out. And now our E, we're getting kind of crowded in there. I'm just going to go ahead and draw the side of that E and then oval in those pieces there. I'm going to make that very round in the middle. And now the L. And another L. Make that a little fatter right there. Just keep correcting as you go. You want to find a sort of a rhythm, balance. I'm doing a lot of the same shapes on the bottom of these letters. You can see how there's a repetition here of this and this. That helps the letters look like they go together. And I can tell you, the more names I'm doing, the easier they're getting. So just keep practicing. Now this over here is much larger than this, so I'm going to reduce the size of that. I don't want this E to be super large and that one to be sort of small and puny. We need to make them the same. Okay, so there we've got the basic sketch for Gisselle, and I'm not sure what else I can do with this other than get right into our black marker and ink this in. I'm going to use a scrap of paper as a shield here. Turn my paper a little bit. I've got my black Sharpie here. Any marker will do. And I'm just going to start outlining these pieces. Now this curve on the G is going to be pretty important that I get this nice and smooth, so I'm just going to go very slowly. Turn this as I need to. Alright, there we go. G's are really hard in my opinion. Right now I'm using my wrist as a pivot point. Actually I'm using this part of my hand. I'm setting that down, and I'm turning my hand. It's basically right on that knuckle right there, like this. Now, so if that's going to work for you, sometimes that depends on how big the curve is. So you might be able to just do a short part of it and then continue. And while that's not perfect, that's pretty good. Alright, got our I in there. And now for our S's. Lots of tough, curvy letters in this name. It's a beautiful name. Not the easiest name to do in bubble letters, though. Now, something that's fun to do when letters get tight like this is to let them sort of overlap themselves. The way that end of that S overlaps the other part of the S. That's a neat effect and something you can experiment with. Alright, we're almost home free. We got one more letter to do. This has been a tough one. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's get our eraser out and clean that up. This is a kneaded eraser. You get it at the art supply store. Does a really good job picking up pencil. And what I'm doing is working the graphite back into it so I get a clean section of it here. Something that I didn't do on this video, which you can do too. I'll just go ahead and do it now. You can roll it, which does a really good job too, especially if you press down. But there are some places where you may just have to go in and rub that pencil off. Alright, now it's time for some, whoops, whole paper slip there. Time for some effects and a drop shadow on this. So let's come in here with some little reflections here. And I'm just giving some variety to the way I do this. There's not a particular pattern to it. I think we're going to need one right there. And there we have Gisselle. So time to add a drop shadow. I'm going to pull the camera out. That was in a little out here so that we have a little more room to work with. And we're going to draw the letter basically again, except shift it off to one side. So I'll start up in here, copying that curve, and then the way this curve would copy would be right around in here. So all that's going to go black right there, and that's going to go black right there. And then down the bottom of the letter, if that letter were back here, it would cut out right about here. Let's see it would, this curve right here, if you were to do it drop down, it would come out right about there. So I need to turn the paper a little bit so I can get in here and do this. Just about like that. And then coming off the bottom of the eye, step over and down, the S. Okay, and down here, similar right there, and right there, down and to the right, down and to the right. Let that go black. That might not fully go black. We can cut right in there. This one technically probably go right like that. That one's too tight probably to worry about, because if we draw the line, see, it's already going to black in. So these are very tight. You might see a little bit right there, a little bit right there, a little bit right there. Alright, I think that does it. So now let's black in these parts. Okay, now moving on to the bottom part of this drop shadow. Alright, and that completes the name Gisselle. Really pretty name. Thanks for submitting it, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends about your name being online and have them subscribe, and also to submit their name, or if their name's already out there, like it. Let's see what's the most popular name, and we'll count that probably by how many likes. Likes and visits will both probably help determine, and I know some names are more common than others, but we can test that theory and see how it goes.